So now, rather than using buttons to control the light, I'm going to add a slider to make it nice and easy to just ramp up and ramp down. So if we right mouse click in here, and this time I'm going to go across, add slider. When we select that, I select how I want my slider to be. I'm going to, in this example, I'm going to use horizontal, so we can slide across the horizon. Now, it's very similar to adding a button, and this time we're adding a normal image, a pressed image, and we have a baseline. So let's go through here, scroll down my images till we get one. There we go. Well, let's use that one when it's the image is not pressed, and we'll use that one when it's pressed. So when it's not pressed, we scroll down. That one when it's pressed, and we select what the baseline is going to be. Now, because I'll select horizontal, I'll go and pick a horizontal baseline, and that's what the slide is going to be. We keep it on horizontal is fine. OK, and there's my slider. We can position this wherever we want it to be. Now, if I just use the guidelines to expand that, I can expand this slider to whatever size I want. You'll notice when I'm moving this, it's moving the baseline, and if I go up and down, it's moving the baseline, but the button is not moved at all. So I use the baseline, get the length I want, etc. Now, if I want to move the position or the size of the button itself, I press the Shift key. So holding the Shift key down and now moving it, you notice the baseline is staying the same size, but the button is actually changing size. The same as if I get the end of the bar, Shift, the baseline will stay the same, but the button will actually change size. So without hitting Shift, I can move the baseline size, and using the Shift key down, I move the base. It'll then move the button and not the baseline. So I can move that to wherever I want, line it up, get it to where I want it to be. Of course, I don't have to have those. I can put that whatever I like. Now, we want to program that to actually slide and what light we're going to control. So let's go back to the properties where we set the baseline, etc. We'll have a look at some of the settings that we've got up here for the slider. First of all is maximum value and minimum. I can move that slider right up here, and what's the maximum value of that light going to be? And of course, this slider could be for a volume control, whatever we want to control. You may put it in the children's bedroom, so when you put the slider onto full, it might only still hit the volume at 50% or whatever you want to do. So in this example, I'm going to say, right, let's make the maximum 90%, so when I turn the light on full, it's really only going to be 90%. Then turn it right down, it's fine turning it down. We can then have the step intervals. So at the moment as default it will be 10. So each time we slide it will then jump up 10% at a time. Maybe that's a little bit coarse for us, so let's change the interval to 5%. We can then have a delay in milliseconds. So each time it goes up 5% per jump, of what millisecond delay do we want it to be? Again, I might have a 5 milliseconds, so it's going to be a nice smooth ramp up and make it nice looking for mood lighting. We then want feedback on here. So on the particular feedback, so if the light's at 50%, the button will be at 50%. If the light's on 80%, the button will be. So it'll follow it in accordance with what the slider is. And a good example of this could be where you have a light switch, and let's say a CBus light switch on the wall. As the light is getting ramped up, ramped down, turn on and off, that button there will slide up and down the bar accordingly. So to keep that in sync, we put the feedback in. And we then go down, we hit the feedback, we just scroll down the script. We get to light level 1 because that's the one we want to keep it in sync with. And we've now got that feedback. So as level 1 or group address 1 changes, that slider will slide up and down accordingly in sync with that light. We then say what action we want to press. So when we get that slider and slide, what do we want it to be? So in this case we go action. It's going to be our M1 script. We then go to functions, and we want to dim to a level in this instance because we're going to be a slider. We want to slide to a particular level. We just don't want to jump from on to off. So we hit to a level. That opens up another box down the bottom for us to fill in, which is the parameters. What unit number, comma, and what level. So this is light number 1, so I put 1 in, then comma, and it's saying what level. It's telling us what to enter down here. Because we're using JavaScript, we must put in the name of the JavaScript file that we're going to run. Now, being JavaScript, it is case sensitive. So it's telling us to put everything in uppercase here. So if I was to put, for example, a uppercase S and a lowercase Laravel, then what's going to happen? It's not going to find the JavaScript and it's not going to respond. So I put in there exactly what the script tells us to put in, which is all uppercase Slidervel. So we're going to control light 1 Slidervel, get light the feedback for that. We then get it in 5% increments with a 5 milliseconds. Maximum is going to be 90, and there we go, we're good to go.